did it after mine.
So, good afternoon. We're going to talk about Ubuntu Linux today, a brief tour of the system. And I'm going to show you how some things work. One of the very first things that you need to be able to do when you're using Linux is to be able to go into the command prompt. In the case of Ubuntu, you double click on the terminal icon and that will open you to the command prompt. Now that we're at the command prompt, most of the things that we're going to be doing today are at the command prompt. First of all, we have to be logged in as root, or we're not going to be able to do what we want to do. So in the case of Ubuntu, to do the login for root, we type sudo su dash, and it logs us in as root. We already entered our root password earlier. Now we can do some interesting things from the command prompt now. For instance, if we want to look up our internet network card settings, we can type ifconfig eth0, and that gives us all of the settings for the network card. You can see your IP address there under iNet address 10.0.2.15. Now I'm running in VirtualBox, so some of the addresses and things you're going to see are virtual. They're not my actual router settings from AT&T. Additionally, we can look up our routing table to find out what our current gateway address is. We type route-in, and that gives us the routing table. Now if you look in the gateway column at the very bottom, you'll see 10.0.2.2. That is my gateway address. In this case, because we're in VirtualBox, it is a virtual gateway address. Additionally, we can ping other systems. We can actually send a request to them and they will reply to us. For instance, I can type in ping www.yahoo.com as an example, and we get a response. It is sending back replies to our request. In this case, the round trip is about 8 milliseconds. We can also trace the route that the packets are taking to their servers. We type trace route www.yahoo.com, and it will give us the route that the packets take. Now normally this would give us multiple hops to their system. Because we're in VirtualBox, we only have 2 hops because it can only trace to the virtual gateway, which is 10.0.2.2, as you can see. Finally, another option that we want to be able to do is to look up our present working directory, where we are functioning in the system. So if we type pwd, that tells us where we're at. Since we're logged in as root, it says /root. That is the root directory.
Okay, now we're going to figure out what files exist in the directory that we're in by using the ls command, which is ls space -.l. To jump back into the root directory, we want to use the cd command, which is cd space /. We're now going to create an empty file with the command touch. We do this by using touch test. This creates a file called test. Let's put our name in a file by using the echo command. Now let's look in the file to see the name and use it by using the cat command. There you go.
Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to copy the test file to another file called test2 using the copy command. To ensure that it's done what we've asked it to, we'll pull up the list. And here we see that it has. So we'll now move on. Let's rename the file test2 to test3 by using the move command. Same as before, we'll pull up the list to see if it's done what we've asked it to. Once again, we see that it has, and what it's done is move the files one at a time. However, we could have used a wildcard character such as an asterisk to move many files all at once. Let's now make a directory called mydir using the make directory command. Let's now use the command to jump into our mydir directory. Okay, and what this does is it changes the directory for us to mydir as we've asked it to. Now, we'll use the command to jump up one directory level. Okay, now that we've done this, we're going to delete both the directory and the file with the remove command using the recursive switch, which means to delete the directory and everything below it recursively by doing this. Okay, and now that we've done this, the last thing that we're going to do is pull up htop. This just simply shows us the running processes and the programs that are on the system. We hit Control-C to exit this. And that now concludes our Ubuntu lab. Thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed it.